All right, here we go in three, two,
Oh,
one. When you hear that, you know what time it is. It's TWIS or iTwist or in it's TWIS in this week in sports. The Oilers just won a really entertaining game against the Washington Capitals, 3-2 in overtime. Huge news in the NFL as far as Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson going to a new team, MLB getting closer, hopefully, to a final agreement to get the season going. And obviously, this week in sports history, Twish, and there's some news as far as golf that is worth noting. But first, of course, we got to give a shout out to Cage Exteriors with a Kage. If you need any work done on the outside of your house, they do everything from garages to siding to eaves troughs to everything, and they have a limited time off for 100 feet of free eaves trough for any work that gets done. You have to contact Greg via his cell phone. I would give you his number, but I don't have it readily available. You can look it up online. They're a great family-owned business, and if you need work on your house, give them a shout. And if you're looking for work in the Calgary area or Central Alberta, they do work everywhere. Cage Exteriors with a Kage, exteriors.com. Tonight, the Oilers come up with a huge win, 3-2 against the Washington Capitals. It was an entertaining game. It was back and forth. Yes. We were missing, obviously, Nuge. Cassian came back, though. Laid out some good hits on his first game back. We dominated the first period. We had like 20 shots in the first period against them. And their goalie, Samsonov, though, stood on his head. But he played well. Koskinen, surprisingly, or not so surprisingly, depending who you ask. But I think if you ask most people, surprisingly, he had a pretty good game too. Recently, he's been playing really well. Smith, on the other hand, we put him in the other game, and he didn't look too good. And now he's out again with a non-COVID related illness. The guy's at the end. It's pretty much over for Mike Smith, and I'll keep reiterating it on this and to anyone who will listen. We need another goalie before the trade deadline, or else we may as well pack up our bags and call it a season. 'Cause, yeah, I'm not the only one that sees this. If I'm I'm just a fan watching on TV, one of many that can see this. The management has to get it. It has to happen, or else, like I said, yeah, it's done. Like, let's get another goalie. It was cool that Ovi was in the building. I'm always keeping up on Ovechkin, as we all are. Ovechkin had just tied Jaromir Jagr's record last night, or depending when you hear this, 2 nights ago or years ago, all time. But something I didn't realize, it's freaking crazy. Ovechkin. I'm about to say this, and it doesn't even sound like it's real, but apparently Ovechkin got to 766 goals in 480 games quicker than Jaromir Jagr did, because that's what Jagr finished with 766 in his career. And yeah, Ovechkin's just flying right by him. However, Jagr, I always said this: if Jagr played his entire career in the NHL, if he played his entire career in the NHL, then I think he probably would have passed Gretzky all time in goals, because he ended up dipping for like 3 or 4 years to go play in the Czech League, and then came back for a couple more seasons with Florida. I think he signed with Calgary as well for a year. And but if he actually stayed on this side of the pond and played for maybe that extra couple of seasons, 2 or maybe 3 or 4 seasons, then I'm sure he could average 20, because that was when he was still putting up production. Like, because when he came back, he wasn't as productive as he was throughout his career. But if he stayed here, if Jagr stayed here, then I'm sure that he would be higher up on the list, possibly more than likely, probably past Gordie Howe for goals. He'd be up in the 800s. And but yeah, he's at 766. Ovechkin, luckily for our sake, for the Oilers' sake, he didn't score tonight. But he's going to take third all time in a matter of days as far as the all-time scoring lead, and it's just remarkable seeing someone in our generation competing for a Gretzky record.
Unbelievable.
Well, actually, first of all, beyond passing a Gordie Howe record.
Yeah, it's insane.
Which, like, I'm scratching my head right now. It's when I hear it come out of my mouth, it's like I can't believe I'm witnessing this right now. Yeah, someone that we're able to witness in our time passing a all-time great record. Like, sure, records are made to be broken, and it'll happen continually. But someone like Gordie Howe, you know, a legend among legends, having his goal record broken. I mean, it's going to happen with Ovechkin. I'm sure very very soon. I would say, would it be too crazy to assume, or too out of the realm to predict that Ovechkin does it next season? Okay, let's say Ovi finishes with, let's say he finishes with 780. All right, so that's 14 more goals. Right, so he has 780. Then he's 20. What is it? 22 away from Howe's record next year. Okay, so I could see him doing it next year. So Ovechkin breaking Howe's record next year, and then shit. If he has a crazy year next year, could you imagine the year following? Chasing Gretzky's record? Oh my goodness.
How far he's away?
Well, right now he's at 766. Gretzky's at 894, I believe. So he's 130. What is it? I'm at 120, 134, 138, something like that.
I mean, that's a couple of really good years.
That's
Couple
three
really good seasons.
solid seasons.
And he's getting up there though, right?
Yeah, he's like 36 years old, I think. He's turning 36. Yeah.
I mean, he's the only one that can chase it. He's the only one. So like,
he's the only one. He's the only one of our generation that will ever come close. This is history in the making. So I hope that it happens. And Gretzky actually himself, he's been an advocate of it. He said like he wants it to happen.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, I couldn't even imagine seeing the day that a Wayne Gretzky all-time career record gets broken. But we could be witnessing it in the next couple of years. But all in all, I'm glad that the Oilers obviously beat the Washington Capitals. We played Tampa on Saturday, but I might miss some of that game because I might go watch Batman again, eh? Yeah, may as well. You're gonna go watch Batman earlier in the day, and then I think the rest of us are gonna go catch it afterwards. We seen it last weekend. Was it last weekend, the opening weekend?
Yeah, it was
fun.
It was good. It was good. I think I'm really gonna like it the second time around. I like it now.
Well, dude, I want to watch it again. I definitely want to watch it again.
It's a meaty movie. There's a lot to chew on.
Well, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's so many different things going on, and that's I mean, you made a good movie when it's worth a second watch.
Well,
right?
yeah, and
like a immediate second watch.
Yeah, right? Matt Reeves didn't make just a Batman movie. He made like a really good film. Like there's a lot. Like if Batman didn't even exist at all, like in our in the world and the universe, this would be an interesting movie. You'd be like, who is this fucking weirdo hunting down like criminals and shit? It's like it stands alone. So yeah, definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah, so tune in to maybe our reviews when we've recorded some reviews. I'm not going to even bullshit. We've recorded some reviews about some other movies. We're just sitting on them and we're deciding when and if we should release them. Because me and Caleb are some serious movie buffs. And the funny thing is, if some of us do go watch Batman again on Saturday, I'll be missing the Tampa Bay Lightning game, or some of it, anyways, to the beginning of it. But it's the ironic thing is recently when I haven't watched the Oilers games, we've won. Right when we went on that little streak when Jay Woodcroft came to the helm, I missed some of those games, and we won most like all the games I didn't watch. We won, and then um, since I've been watching, we've only won like half of them. So I it's bittersweet when I miss some of the games, but I feel like you know what, maybe we'll win if I'm not watching. Tonight was an anomaly, though. Hopefully, not too much of an anomaly, but we were able to pull out the W in OT, even though I mean Washington tied it up with like less than a second left in the third period. But we got the W, so that's all that matters. And it, the fact that Washington picked up a point doesn't affect us because they play in the Eastern Conference, so their points don't affect us. There's not too much NHL news going on other than the trade deadline coming up on the 21st. Um, I'll say it again. We need that one particular position fulfilled, and if we don't have that, then it's over. There's some big names on the market as far as goalie, but in other positions as well. I think we should just be focused on one particular position if we want to do anything this year, and anything else, any other moves will be probably done because of future considerations. In NBA news, though, the Raptors won tonight as well against, I think it was the Wizards. We took it to them, and we're still staying in the mix for a play-in position. Oh, sorry, it was the Spurs that we won tonight. We beat them by 15, 119 to 104 against against the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs, and San Antonio Spurs, San Antonio Spurs. Yeah,
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 yeah, the Spurs. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Um, so yeah, no, I've been watching the. There's no need for any of those things, but sorry, just looking at my brother.
No, no, no.
Looking at my
Cut
brother.
this whole thing up.
Why are we cutting this out?
No, move on.
Yeah, there's nothing to cut out here. There's
No,
nothing
move
to
on.
cut out. There's nothing to cut out.
You're making work for me.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing. What I was saying though is the Raptors are staying in position for playing. There's like a playing tournament that they're in their new format in the NBA, and we'll be in the mix for that. We might even be in the mix for an actual playoff spot, the top six. Move on to the playoffs without having to do a play-in round. So that's still on the table. Hopefully, we're able to do that. Um, there's still
really fluid.
well, no, there's still like 20 some games in the NBA, just like the NHL. So I like how the Raptors have been able to, keep up with the pace. I'm not going to front and say I've been watching the Raptors day in and day out every game, but I've been keeping up with them as far as the standings and the highlights. So they've been doing all right, and I'm glad that even though they don't have like a full bred ultimate all star, we're still able to keep up in the standings. And Nurse has been doing a good job keeping our team keeping our team on the right path, and our sights set on a playoff spot at the very least. Because I mean, we're talking sports, so if you make it into the playoffs, anything can happen. NFL news. There's been a lot of big news going on in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, I don't even believe it,
Aaron Rodgers.
is back again. He re-signed a contract, making him the highest paid player in NFL history. He got 4 years, even though he's like 55 years old, 70 years old.
No, hold on.
No, he's in his 40s, bro.
Damn.
They gave him a 4-year contract, $200 million 4-year contract. And
Wait, hold on. What?
yeah, but
$250 million a year?
$50 million a year, but 153 or 163 is guaranteed up front.
Even if he
Is guaranteed.
fucking
Retires
like
and shit. Yeah,
uses his legs.
yeah. And
Even if he retires?
yeah. Well, I don't know how I don't know how the logistics of that works, but he's guaranteed 153 or 163 million of it.
Yeah.
Which the reason why Green Bay guaranteed that, to my understanding, is to lower the cap hit year by year, because 50 millions, they do, believe it or not, NFL does have a salary cap.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. It's actually crazy, because he was talking about retiring this year. Everyone was hinting at him retiring this year.
You ain't gonna retire with that kind of money.
Well, no.
That's
He's
crazy.
definitely not going to retire. Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, and the fact that he's going to, this is what I think that he's doing. He sees Brady, and he's like, "Yo, if Brady can do it, fuck, I can do it too."
Yeah.
Well, he just won back-to-back MVPs too.
I ain't quitting. Oh wait, Brady quit. Right? Brady retired.
Brady retired, yeah.
Right.
But Aaron Rodgers coming off back-to-back MVP seasons, right? So what, are you going to walk away from back-to-back MVP seasons? I don't think so. I wouldn't.
way.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're the best player in the league, why would you quit? Why?
Yeah.
Why fuck with something that works?
Age ain't nothing but a number,
Yeah.
and $50 million a year. Of course, you would do it.
That's right. Age ain't nothing but a number, like my brother said. So Cougs, holler at us.
That's actually what we meant.
Jokes. But there was a funny weekend in the past couple weeks here that we won't discuss on this podcast. But shout out
We're all up in those cougs.
shout out to Aaron Rodgers for getting that payday. Mad respect to him. And another huge news: Carson Wentz gets traded from the Indianapolis Colts to, I don't know if it's finalized at this particular time, but he gets traded to the Washington Redskins. Oh, whoops. We can bleep that out. They're called the Commanders now.
Mm.
The Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Washington football team, formerly known as my cousins, the Redskins, represent.
No. Boo.
Oh, you got a boo one on there?
Too late.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I was talking with my friend. We loved the Washington football team. We loved that name. Like, we thought it was the dopest shit.
Yeah. Commanders. Like, every time I see the Commanders, I'm like, what team is that?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. So it's going to take some adjusting. Anyway, so Carson Wentz gets traded to them from Indianapolis Colts for a bunch of draft picks. You know how it goes. But even bigger news than that is Russell Wilson. Oh my God. He gets moved. The Denver Broncos for several picks, a linebacker, a defensive end, and Russell Wilson is no longer in Seattle. And I was planning on going to Vancouver this year, maybe catching a Seattle Seahawks game. Now the Seahawks, they had a shitty fucking record last year, and now it's like,
I bother.
well, no, why I have to bother, because it's an NFL game, and I've never, even though I do a sports podcast, believe it or not, I've never been to an NFL game because I live in Canada.
We're Canadians. Come
Yeah.
on. It's the closest thing to us is Seattle.
It's Seattle, and now they traded away Russell Wilson. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm not going to pretend like I know Seattle's situation right now, but they just traded away their franchise. So
They're rebuilding.
they're
Josh.
rebuilding. And I was seeing the stat, or a quote, not a stat, a quote by one of the other coaches of the NFL, and I think it was, I can't remember which coach it was, but he was like, in today's day and age, there's no time for rebuilding. You can't be taking years, because everything's so fluent, and anything can happen. And then a day later, I see freaking Russell Wilson gets traded to the Denver Broncos. So watch out for Denver this year. My God, one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he's still got some miles on him. So Those are three big moves that happened in the NFL this past week. If we're talking, if we're moving on to my one of my other favorite sports, baseball, the MLB delayed more games. They initially delayed the opening two series of the of the season, and now the games through April 13th have been postponed as well. So that is the first basically 2 weeks of the MLB season have been delayed, even though I guess they went late into the night, sitting in a meeting room trying to negotiate. They're still far apart on a couple of issues. International draft. The international draft is what the MLB owners want, and um, I guess the players don't want an international draft every year, which is strange. I don't know why that is. I'd have to look further into that. I'm not going to front like I know what that is, but or why that is, I should say. But yeah, the owners want more options when it comes to drafting players. Maybe get a bargain, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, international players, $1 million to them is astronomical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even the even if you paid them the minimum, which is one of the things they're negotiating about is the player paid minimum, because most of the players get paid the minimum in the league, and it's not that high. It was like I think it's $600,000 or something, which is I mean, good, but
God damn!
but they want it up to like 750 or something, right? Because just the amount of revenue that they generate as players doing it. Um, so the owners and the players have gotten closer on the minimum salary, but I think one of the issues that's been a little sticky in the final negotiations here is the international draft. Just get it done. I want to see some fucking baseball. I want to see. I need it. I need it. I've been hitting the cages the last few weeks. I'm always a huge fan of baseball, even though I tweaked my knee the other week at the baseball cages. I was rolling around like I was a 10-year-old again. Tweaked my knee, but I mean, my old ass is recovered, and I want to hit some more balls. I want this snow to melt so I can go out to the field and play some baseball. And beyond that, I want to see some baseball. I want to watch some baseball. I want to see some spring
Yeah, have some
training.
baseball parties here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. I mean that'll come in like October and shit if we ever do make it. But still, um, love having baseball on during the day and whatnot. And just it's a good thing to have during summertime when there's no other sports going on. So hopefully in the next by the time I record this another episode, there's an agreement between the players and the owners of the MLB, so that we can get back to you know spring training and all that shit. Excuse me. So before we get to what happened in this week in sports history, which I should look up the actual date of it. It's a rookie record. I'll hint at that. Let me just see here. Details of this. This was March 7th, March 2nd, 1993 is when we're going to this week in sports history. But before we do that, got to give a shout out to Tiger Woods getting inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame or whatever they call it. Tiger Woods, the legend. Well, right? He's inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in Saint Augustine, Florida, and I guess there was a presentation speech by his daughter Sam, and I could only imagine what that was like. I mean, the amount of stuff that Tiger's gone through, personally, and with his family, and you know, just the fact that he came through all of that, and the accident recently, and he's still trying to play golf.
Man's a legend.
Man's a machine. Man's like a Terminator.
Why do we gotta tear down legends? Even, especially for things that he did that a lot of men do. You know, that's like he's a little bit of a a little bit of a swindler, a little bit of a womanizer.
You wouldn't be though.
That rich? Of
Yeah,
course I would be. That's what I'm
exactly.
saying.
Yeah,
Let's stop tearing down men. Let's stop tearing
yeah,
down men for doing things that like great men that do things that average men do. You know?
yes, 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 exactly. And this week in sports is not a place where we tear down these gentlemen because we respect them. We
Yeah.
understand their greatness, and we understand what they're going through. We don't understand what they're going through, but we could understand that we would do the same thing
Yeah.
if we had that opportunity. We're not too big to say that. We're not gonna front and try to say that we're better than these people
Mhm.
because some people will do that.
Yeah.
And we're not about that here and this week in
We all
sports.
know when someone does something wrong. They did it wrong. Move
Wrong.
on. You don't
Move
have to
on.
fucking ruin a fucking great man who did great things. You don't have to wipe that off the table. We know it was wrong. We know it was wrong. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's still a legend.
And he still comes back. That's
Yeah.
that's what I mean. He's the Terminator.
Yeah,
Tiger
exactly,
Tiger Woods
yeah.
is the Terminator. Because all this shit that people talk and all the things that he's gone uh, through, personally, physically, everything, he still comes back.
Yeah.
And he's still playing. And he just got inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame. Show some love to my
Yeah.
boy Tiger. That's a good documentary too. If you haven't watched it, it's on Crave. Tiger documentary. I think it's like 3 parts. It's a really, really good documentary.
I mean, obviously, there's a threshold. When you pass a certain amount of bad, you do a certain bad thing. There's a threshold. Tiger didn't even come close to that
Well,
threshold.
who comes to that threshold in sports, Caleb? You're bringing this up.
I mean, like NFL players that beat the shit out of like.
Oh yeah, there was that one dude on the Atlanta Falcons. Actually, he got suspended for the entire next year
Yeah.
for gambling on games.
Okay. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Things
that's
like
passing
that.
the threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or people that like players that kill their wives or something. Obviously, there's a threshold.
I've heard some things, but I've heard some things about big players, and they've gotten away with it.
Well, then they didn't meet the threshold.
In this week in sports history, though, in TWIS, Teemu Selanne. What did I say the date was? I didn't even write it down. 5 days ago. So March 4th or whatever it was, 1993. Teemu Selanne breaks the all-time NHL rookie goal record, formerly held by Mike Bossy. Selanne scored a hat trick, and he passed Bossy's record, and he ultimately went on to scoring 76 goals in his rookie season, a record that is still held to this day. A record that's one of the records that may never be broken. 76 goals by a rookie. That'd be hard. That'd be hard to break. And everyone will remember his celebration, Teemu Selanne's celebration. It was one of the most iconic. He scored his hat trick to break the record. He threw up his glove, Caleb, in the air, and he went boom, 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 boom with his stick. Dude, the most iconic freaking throw your glove up and then shoot it with beautiful, beautiful celly.
Good for him.
Good for Teemu. Give him a celly. Studio.
Thank you, studio.
Yeah, the studio audience loves Teemu. I love Teemu. I always loved him. He played all my life. I still can't believe he's retired. I can't believe Zdeno Chara is still playing. It's ridiculous. That's another point that we talked on the last episode. But these players that have played all my life, the fact that some of them are retired is mind blowing to me, and the fact that Zdeno Chara is still playing is even more mind blowing to me. Because he's one of those players that have been playing all my entire fucking life, and he's still playing. All these other players that have played all my life, they've all retired. So I'm at that age now where it's at crossroads. Some of you older listeners may know what I'm talking about. I would shout out one by name because I know he's listening, and he's my boy. He's my boy, and all you are. I appreciate you guys listening. I really do. Thank you so much. This is This Week in Sports, and on behalf of my producer Caleb, my name is Josh Jacko. I appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you next week. Oh, before I let you go, though, there's a couple guests we're going to be having upcoming in the next couple weeks.
Confirmed?
Confirmed. It's just a matter of when we can record them. I don't know if I should name drop him now.
Some special guests, some
Some special
real
guests.
special
So,
guests.
a super fan named Magoo from Rogers Place,
Ooh.
and we have
Those who know.
yeah, and we also have a another guest that knows some stories and has some stories from back in the day, from the Oilers' glory days. And I've been wanting to have him on the podcast for a while, and to talk about some of these stories that he just told me in passing about the glory days in the Oilers and back in the day when Edmonton was on top of the world. And so, in the next couple weeks, next couple episodes, in the coming episodes, check out, keep an eye out for that. And again, thanks for listening. But until then, peace.